Welcome to Taurus Tech Talks. This is the first one, and I am excited to welcome Josh Beacom into our first Taurus Tech Talk podcast. He has recently stepped into the role of Director of Health, Safety, and Environment. He brings, correct me if I'm wrong, nearly 2 decades of HSE experience in energy and industrial operations. You bring a sharpened focus, from what I've been told, on what it truly takes to keep people safe, equipment running, and projects delivering on schedule. So welcome. Thanks for joining me, and congratulations on the new role. So we're excited to have you here on Taurus Tech Talks.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you having me. I'm glad to be the first one here to kind of break the ice. Yep. Thank you for the congratulations. I'm excited about the new role. And, you were right about the experience there. I want to think that it even goes back further than that because, it's coming from a craft myself and being on my tools in my younger days. I think you really start to really see what health and safety is and kind of in a different level, obviously, than as you're in it on the day-to-day grind. But you start to respect and understand the importance of health and safety in that role as a worker on your tools. And it really helps me to carry on this, desire to really understand it more and to grow in my craft with health and safety. So I'm grateful to be in this position and thankful to be on here with you today, Julie. Thank you.
For sure. So I've been with Taurus for 2.5 years. And first things first, I knew safety is our core value. That word core was ingrained, stamped, like it is a core value. It's not something that we just manage. It's something that we lead with. And Taurus is always evolving and changing. And so how do you now, stepping into this role, really kind of ensure that safety culture, or how is it going to influence the performance of our people and influence the relationships that we have with our clients and ultimately influence the success of Taurus? Tell me about that safety culture that you are trying to continue to maintain and build.
Well, I think that our safety culture being our core value has to start at the top with the leadership level. And I think that's really where that comes from, because as we know in our industry, that everything from the top down is driven into the workforce. So myself as a leader and other leaders in this company take that very seriously. And every meeting we have, every discussion we have as a team in any facet, always starts with safety. We start it with a safety moment or discussion on safety or whatever we're talking about, maybe something relative to the work we're doing, but it always begins with safety because it is a core value. And it is important for us as leaders to make sure that people see us not only preaching it, but teaching it and pushing it down and doing it ourselves, right? And I've always been big about that to make sure that I'm just as accountable as someone brand new to the company that's going on a project as a helper and sees me following that same standard of health and safety when I'm there in the field. And I think that's one of the things that we as leadership here at Taurus really do well, is that a lot of us do come from the field and we do understand what it takes to be safe and to really put that into every job and every task that we do and take it very serious because the consequences are obviously very serious. So that's why we want to make it a core value, because our most important thing is the people that we have out there working. And if they're not being safe and then there's opportunities for them to be hurt, then none of us are successful. So we want to try to do our best to show that that's the people that we have out there are the most important and valuable thing we have, and that is their health and safety.
Absolutely. So we're 20 plus years. So you said field based and in HSE. I'm sure you have seen safety evolve with the involvement of data analytics and digital twins, and now AI is coming into play. If you think forward about the future of safety at Taurus, what are you most excited about, or what's coming on the horizon? And how are we going to use that to kind of drive safer, more efficient projects?
Yeah, well, honestly, I've been in this industry for quite some time, and you're right that a lot of that technology is really just now up and coming and kind of bubbling over into a lot of different facets of industry, but really health and safety has kind of grabbed it and ran with it. And Taurus does it better than anyone I've seen, honestly. Some of the things that we're doing in Taurus are like just industry
Can you
leading.
share some of that
Yes,
that we
I
can
am.
share publicly?
Yes, I will share that. I think that one of the most fascinating or exciting things that we're doing is our 360 platform, which I'm sure you've heard about it, where we house all our HSE analytics and data. And we're taking that data and we're able to actually look at it and predict where our next incident's going to be, or maybe even what type of incident we're going
Incredible.
to have based off
Yeah.
of our lagging indicators, but also our leading indicators. So
Mhm.
we have programs in there where we can find through our audit data that if we've had corrections that were made in the field, those corrections that we see that maybe they corrected something that was a PPE violation or an unsafe behavior or a hazard that was noticed in the field of a condition, and we made a correction on that, and that correction is then put into the system so we can see, hey, we're having a lot of corrections on this particular thing. We need to go out and do focused audits on
About
those
it.
things so we can
Right.
prevent an incident happening in the future. So that's the kind of stuff that we're doing with that platform. There's a lot more stuff that we're looking and moving forward with that
Mhm.
is not quite there. One of those things I'll give you a little sneak peek on is potentially moving with a digital JSA, which I believe the job safety analysis or your pre-task risk assessment is probably the most important tool in your tool belt of safety. Is because you're doing everything you need to do at the start of the job to make sure that the job is safe before you move into it. So we're looking forward to that, where we're going to have tools built into that JSA
That's cool.
digitally, where if somebody says, I'm going to be doing this type of work, automatically it'll flag up, here's the procedure to do that
Mhm.
safely from our
Mhm.
HSE manual, and then here are some tools that'll help you do it safely by hitting this link or following this QR code. You can find some added tools to even help you build out that JSA more robust and efficient to do a safe job.
That's so exciting. Yes, I know about 360. I'm kind of been in a little bit in the weeds with that, so I'm excited to get that up and running and
Yeah,
trademarked and all that fun stuff.
right.
So, Taurus is broad, and we have a lot of services and a lot of people and a lot of moving parts. And so, how do you now, director, head honcho of HSE, how do you ensure that every person from the shop to the office to the site management to whatever really they become a proactive partner in safety, not just a reactive when something happens? Like, how are you going to change that mindset and everybody at Taurus become a proactive partner in safety?
Well, I think it starts with us really pushing some initiatives and pushing some things into place that maybe potentially were gaps that maybe we've seen in the past, or maybe even with some of the legacy companies. As we come in and we identify those, we can take, I guess, a more proactive approach to get the knowledge and the information out into our worker teams to make
Right.
sure that they're getting trained efficiently. I think training is a big thing that we can do to make sure that knowledge is getting captured there in the field, that we can have a really strong HSE leadership team that is out there proactively doing audits and letting them see them in the field to say, hey, we have this asset that maybe we didn't have before that is here with us in the field, looking out for our best interests when it comes to health and safety. And they can lean on those individuals, those team members in the HSE group to reach out to if they're maybe need a question answered about a certain procedure or policy that we have. I think the best way to do that is to really be there, engaged with the field as they're doing the work, and not just in some office somewhere where they had to pick up the phone or stop what they're doing to make a phone call. That we're right there engaged in the work with them as an asset to show and help them do the task safely.
Share a specific example
Okay.
from a recent project where your team's safety protocols directly changed the outcome. So,
Yeah.
prevented a shutdown, prevented a
I got one teed up, ready to go.
ooh, okay.
All
Let's
right.
give it to me. Give it to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great question,
Mhm.
and I do have several, which is great to have because you
With
know that,
this.
that your initiatives are working when you have these to look at and say, man, these are some great things that are happening out there in the field where our team members are actively engaging in the health and safety initiatives that you roll out. One of those just recently, actually last week, at one of our biggest customers at their site. there was a crew working, and they were using the 360 awareness program, which is basically our risk assessment program, where we take these elements of energy and we take this 360, which is like an acronym of, you take 3 minutes, you look 6 different directions, and you make sure there's 0 hazards remaining. And in that process, as they're filling out their JSA, they had noticed that there was this seal on this pump that they were breaking down that had some sort of substance still on it. And they're like, what is that substance? This is supposed to be cleaned and ready to be shipped out to a shop. So it was going to actually leave the plant and get put on a truck and all that. So they get a closer look, and as they do, they start to smell a little bit of an odor that was a kind of strange odor. So they stop, and then at this time, they're using another initiative, which is our Stop Work Authority, which we have a card that they're issued that has a Stop Work Authority on the back. It has our life-saving rules for our mandatory safety rules. They utilized that Stop Work Authority. They contacted the customer. They came out, and they actually looked into it and tested it, and they found out that it was still chemical product, which is an acid substance that was left inside of the vat of that vacuum seal. Yeah. So if they wouldn't have stopped and they wouldn't have been doing that assessment, they would have just got the forklift, picked it up, put it on the truck. That would have left there into someone's shop, where it would have put several other people in danger of actually, getting in contact with that chemical that is actually a very hazardous chemical. So a lot of things would have went wrong there if they would not have went through that process and actually used the Stop Work Authority responsibility, and then got other people involved, contacted our safety. And then not only that, they followed up with another process, which is our leading indicator program and our 360 platform, where they were able to enter in this documentation and show what they actually did. So now that we can capture it as a leading indicator to help predict other things in the future, like we talked about in earlier comments. So really great guys out there that captured this and took the time to make it safe for everybody, including our customer and the shop that they were going to.
Future people, right.
Great catch and great effort by them to take safety seriously and really do what it's meant to do, which is prevent people from getting hurt or, harming the environment.
That's a great example. Thanks for sharing that project. Sure. And thank you again for your time, for walking us through how safety and culture and operation excellence is really at our core here at Taurus. We're excited to have you as director. So to all of our listeners, thanks for tuning in to Taurus Tech Talks, our very first one. It may be a little choppy, maybe a little fun, but thanks again for Josh for joining us. Stay tuned. We'll have more of these coming up. And again, thanks so much, Josh, for your time today.
Thank you, Julie. I appreciate it. Glad to be on.